Welcome to another edition of Let's Play WCW 1998. As you can tell from after last episode, I chose to keep the face cam for at least this episode too. Because I thought it gives this series a different feel, because most of the time people don't use face cams for this game's videos. So I figured, why not? It'll different. It'll make my series feel different, because I'm the only one that doesn't use it. I'm the only one that does use it, rather. So, without further delay, let's get to Nitro and what kicks it off this week, and that being, once again, Ric Flair is calling out Hot Rod Roddy Piper, and Flair, I would give almost total control over the segment, but I want him to say one thing, and that one thing I want him to say is, Piper, get out here. Let's end this. I am sick. I am sick and tired of this. It started with me and you, and now it boiled down. It started with me and Sid, but then you made it about you when you turned on me. Piper, let's finish this. And now Roddy Piper actually answers the call, and Piper tells Flair, Rick, what don't you understand? I am the one who brought in Sid Vicious. I am the one who made you think it was Greg Valentine, and I am the one who chose to turn on you when I did. For this entire time, I have been the one messing with you. For one reason, and one reason only, and that was to do each and every one of these people a favor, and that's take you out of the wrestling business for good. Because, Rick, you've been hanging on to a thread for years, and your thread needs to be cut. And I am the only one competent enough in this locker room to do it. Because I don't care if these people boo me when I do it. I don't care if the people back there boo me when I do it. But I am gonna be the one who does it. Because these people might not know it yet, but your time is over, and it's time for you to step back and let somebody new take your spot. Roddy, I have defended everything that I've earned. I haven't been given anything in my career. I've defended everything I got every time I step into this ring. And when I step in the ring against you, that will be no different. Because, Roddy, I'm gonna make you my bitch. Well, that's, what I just did. Now, the announcers, Mike, Tenay, Tony, and Bobby, talk about how they're shocked. They are shocked that the feud between Ric Flair and Roddy Piper has gotten this heated because they didn't think that the tension still existed between them. They thought that they were best friends, but I guess they were wrong. And Bobby Heenan makes a point of describing Roddy Piper's ego and saying that Roddy Piper's ego is the reason why Roddy Piper is acting like this. But now we move to some cruiserweight action to kick off Nitro with the cruiserweight champion Ultimo Dragon against Rey Mysterio Jr. And Rey Mysterio Jr. is victorious after the Ultimo Dragon was distracted by the former cruiserweight champion Eddie Guerrero. And as you can tell with this too, that Eddie, Ultimo, and Rey are feuding now over the world title. Cruiserweight title. Now we go backstage with Ric Flair in the locker room, and Arn Anderson walks up to him. Arn Anderson tells Rick, I got something to tell you. And Rick says, what? Arn tells Rick that he just came from Tully Blanchard, and Tully Blanchard wanted him to tell Rick that this Sunday at Slamboree, it will be a 6-person tag team match with Ric Flair teaming up with Chris Benoit, Dean Malenko against Roddy Piper, Sid Vicious, and Greg the Hammer Valentine. It's a 6-man tag team match, and if Ric Flair wins, he will get Roddy Piper at Bash at the Beach, and Great American Bash rather, and he will get to choose the stipulations for his match. Now we move to the next match. Mike Awesome against the TV champion Fit Finlay. Yes, I know, Fit Finlay's the TV champion. Why do I make him lose? You'll see at the pay-per-view. Now we go backstage. An angry Hollywood Hogan and an angry Eric Bischoff are discussing what happened last week with Bret Hart costing Hulk Hogan his match and his opportunity to challenge for the WCW World title at Slamboree in the Fatal 4-Way. Hogan is out. The Giant, Sting, Diamond Dallas Page, and Randy Savage are in. And by the way, if you don't know what I'm talking about, there will be an annotation in the top right corner to let you click back and watch last week's episode. Now we move once again, this time back to the ring, and Randy Savage is with Mean Gene Okerlund, who said, Gene starts the segment starts like this. Gene says, "My guest at this time, the WCW World Heavyweight Champion, Macho Man Randy Savage." And just like every other segment I've done with Randy Savage this year, Randy would have complete control of the segment. All I would tell him with direction-wise is to talk about the world title match at the end of the week, this Sunday night rather, on pay-per-view at Slamboree. Now we move to the next match, which is the Faces of Fear against the Harlem Heat. And the Faces of Fear will be victorious against the Harlem Heat. And what does that have to... and why? Because the Booker T was counted out after being attacked by Chris Jericho and Lance Storm. The Thrill Seekers stuck their nose in the match, costing the Harlem Heat the match and allowing the Faces of Fear to get the win. And now, post-match, once Booker T comes to, Stevie Ray realizes what happened. And Booker T and Stevie Ray realize what happened. And they come out, grab a mic, and tell him, and say something like this. You want these titles so bad that you want to stick your nose where it doesn't belong. You did it last week when you attacked my brother. This is Stevie Ray talking, of course. And you did it again when you attacked him again and cost us our match. So how about this, you punk kids? How about Slamboree? You two come out to this ring and face me and my brother. How about you two be men, and come out and face my brother and I at Slamboree, and maybe if you can beat us fair and square, you will get a tag team title shot. Though it is an accurate challenge, the Thrill Seekers do not come out to answer the call. And now we go to the next segment, which is Eric Bischoff backstage. And Eric Bischoff is, I guess you could say, talking to one of the extras. Let's say Vincent. He's talking to Vincent. Excuse me, sorry. And he introduces the newest member of the NWO, Scott Steiner. And he books a match for later tonight, Davey Boy Smith against Scott Steiner, and you can guarantee that that match has something to do with Eric Bischoff wanting Scott Steiner to take Davey Boy Smith to the cleaners after the discomfort and the hatred that is developed for for Eric Bischoff against the Hart family. And now we go again to the next match, and that is Randy Savage against Sid Vicious. Randy Savage competes in what is actually his first match, I do believe, since possibly Spring Stampede, against Sid Vicious, who doesn't really compete that often, as you could probably remember if this is your first if this is your first edition of Nitro. Sorry for me closing my eyes, I was trying to think of what I wanted to say. Then you probably have never seen Sid Vicious compete, but I don't really know how often I make him wrestle. But to the point I'm trying to make is, Randy Savage wins after distraction from Ric Flair, allowing Randy Savage to knock down Sid Vicious and land the headbutt. The elbow drop, rather. Following the match, Randy Savage is in the ring celebrating, and the Giant walks out on the stage. And then he comes down about halfway, but then just as he's continuing to walk down, DDP walks out. And DDP stays on stage. And then Sting, just as DDP's about to speak, Sting comes through the crowd. And it's just a four-way stare down as all four men are staring at one another, and you could cut the tension with a knife that you see on screen right now, as each and every one of these men will have their chance to walk away with Randy's world title at Slamboree this Sunday night. But the show is not over yet, and I do apologize. I misspoke. The match between Davey Boy Smith and Scott Steiner is not taking place tonight. It is taking place this Sunday at Slamboree. Now we go back to the broadcast position where Mike Tenay, Tony and Bobby are talking about the WCW World Heavyweight Championship Fatal 4-Way at Slamboree, and they are making their selections. Bobby Heenan says he believes in Randy Savage and thinks Randy Savage is crazy enough to be able to beat the odds and walk out the world champion. Tony picks DDP because he thinks DDP has his momentum on his side, and Mike Tenay is torn. He doesn't know who to pick, but he goes with Sting because he thinks Sting has the most to gain. And now we go to the main event, which is Hollywood Hogan redeeming himself after a loss last week by defeating his longtime rival Lex Luger in the main event. But the show doesn't end there, as Bret Hart makes his way down to the ring, and after what happened last week, everybody backstage, the ring gets flooded by numerous other wrestlers and security and staff. You can see Tully Blanchard out there. You can see Nick Patrick. You can even see wrestlers like Mortis and Eddie Guerrero. You can see Randy Anderson, and Eric Bischoff even makes his way out to keep Bret Hart and Hulk Hogan apart from one another, as you don't know what they're going to do after last week. And what an explosive and tension-filled way to end this episode of Nitro, with Bret Hart and Hulk Hogan having the spotlight going into their pay-per-view match at Slamboree this Sunday night, live on pay-per-view. This show was actually a lot better, and you know what? I hope, I know this is about the third time I've said this in this series. That's why I'm choosing to end the series early, because like I said last time, I am now doing more harm than good, I believe, to WCW. I started this series to help WCW, but I don't know if I'm truly helping them. Now I will say that from the week after Slamboree, I apologize, from 2 weeks after Spring Stampede to now, we keep getting better. 2 weeks ago, I got a 50. Last week was a 65. Now this week is a 72. Do you believe that this show was better? Do you agree with the game? Was this show better than last week's? If you think so, let me know in the comment section below what you thought of the show. Don't forget to like, subscribe for more content just like this that you can only find right here at Wrestling Express. Till next time, thanks.